You're bored.
We're supposed to do it when Glassman isn't here. Actually, Glassman was getting up with you against
Did
so.
she go to this trip?
She isn't banned.
Maria.
No, he's talking about Kaylee.
Yeah.
No, I Maria went on a Disney trip.
What'd you say, Cash?
Where's class?
Maria didn't go on the Disney trip.
She didn't?
No, she did go on the Disney
Oh.
trip. Oh, yeah. But did you say that or?
I thought you said she did it.
Yeah, we were saying Maria and Kaylee.
And Trey.
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 And Sam.
And Sam.
Sam's lawyer. Can't
Alright. So we're gonna do 6, is that the one we're doing?
forget. You will not give me on that ever since I got caught on that. He said Angel. That's too
Okay, so we're gonna rearrange things here. So I'm gonna put the axes together, move that 276 over. So this is gonna go over there, it's gonna become a negative 276. Now we look at each of these, and this one I'm gonna factor out this 4. Thank you. Another little space. Now I'm going to do completing the square twice. So I'm going to do this negative 16 divided by 2, which is 8. And then I'm squaring out to 64. But when I go to add that to the other side, I have to multiply 64 by 4. Which, is that 276? No.
256.
256. Okay. So that gets added over here because of that. Then I do 12 divided by 2 is 6, squared is 36. So that gets added over here. Now what I have here, this should be factorable. And so should this. And then left on this side, 36. So that's where it's a lot like the circles except for that extra little piece. But then we want this to equal 1 over here. So I'm going to divide this by 36. That means I have to divide these two by 36 as well. Now this becomes 1, but this 4 over 36 becomes like 1 over 9. And then the other one's just going to be 36. And then that'll equal 1. And so we have our equation all set up and ready to go then. Alright, so if you guys could get out your notes from last time now, or from the other day, in the notes I actually left graph paper because that might be helpful to do these last couple problems with graph paper. So if you ever need graph paper, I always have a ton of it in here, so feel free to come grab it. Or,
I think I just messed up. Because I told you 36 and she did 16. 36. Equals 16 and 36.
oh,
But that was my fault.
wait,
So the rest of them are just over 6 or 16.
oh, so this we added wrong?
No, you added 36. Yeah, I just told you 36.
Oh, it should have been 16.
Yeah.
Okay, so this should be a 4 and this should be a 16 then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. Listening back on
Yeah,
Monday morning,
I was
it's
like,
like, good.
Don't worry, my bad.
Alright, so yeah, if you guys can pull out the notes that we finally are gonna finish.
It shouldn't take us too long.
No.
But we still need a break after.
Halfway through.
We have a little craft project to do as well. So. I brought my Christmas light boxes that I used this weekend. I put up Christmas lights. It's not even that. You take my number up what you saw? He thinks I'm too big of a klutz to be on the roof, so he's afraid I'll fall off the roof because I'll trip off the edge. So that's the reason he doesn't want me on there. All right, so it says write the equation of ellipse with the following characteristics. I think it's easier to do these from a graph. The axes are always going to be on our coordinate system, so to find the middle point is going to be a lot easier if you have graph paper. So like for your homework, feel free to grab graph paper if you want it. Otherwise, mathematically, it's not bad either. So it says a major axis from negative 6.2 to negative 6.8. So I'm going to put that on here. So negative 6.2 and negative 6.8. Or sorry, what did I say? And then negative 6, negative 8. So there's our major axis. So we know it's going to go that through there. And then the minor axis they have to give us is negative 3, negative 3. And then negative 9, negative 3. If you do it this way, it's really, really easy to find the center of this ellipse. And I think it's easy to see like the number that should be on the bottom. Because the center is kind of just given to us then. Now you could find the midpoint of either of those two, like if you didn't have graph paper handy or whatever, so you could always find the middle that way. But for a center, H and K is that negative 6, negative 3. So that's our H and K. Now, since the major axis is the long way, I have to remember where the bigger number should go. But this is still the x value, so it's going to be x minus a negative 6, so x plus 6 squared. And then y plus 3 squared. But we have to figure out the bottom numbers. And remember, just like when we were graphing these, think about how much you go out in each direction. So in the x direction, I'm going out each way 3. So what am I going to put underneath here? I'm going to put 9, so it's going to be 3 squared underneath, so 9. And then going up and down, it's 5 each way, so then I put 25 underneath. I think the graph is the easiest way to do these. I know Cash did it by kind of doing some accounting, I think, and finding that midpoint, because he had actually done the last 2 questions. And so it's definitely possible. Midpoint is not an overly difficult idea. And then trying to figure out how far apart these are. But again, I'm not going to give you one that's not on an axis, so why not just use what we have and use a graph. I'll give you guys a little, I don't know if we need to do another one, is that okay? Do you want just a little bit of time to work on those 2? Why don't you try the 2 on your homework sheet, and then we'll just get the homework sheets completely finished. Does anyone want graph paper? Otherwise, you guys can use the graph paper from your notes.
Do the last one.
The last 2 on the worksheet is what was due. We're going to get a new worksheet today that has circles and ellipses on it. Sorry, you're not just getting 2 problems for homework.